Welcome to episode 5 of the Mini Man truck build. Now this isn't actually episode 5. Episode 5 is still uploading. I uploaded it overnight, but for some reason it failed, went wrong. The internet is very slow, so this upload is not going to be ready. So I thought I'd talk to you today about some design aspects, and what I'm doing right now is designing a water tank. But before I do that, just tell you about, I've just launched a Patreon page. I'm going to make a video on this, why I've done it, why I make videos. That'll be another video. I just wanted to make you aware of my Patreon page. If you know what Patreon is, I'll add a link down in the description, and if I can I'll add a link up here. And the main reason for doing this Patreon page is to try and help support people that need the help. I get questions every day, many questions. I just don't have time to answer them all. I try to do my try to help as much as I can, drawings, detailed descriptions, but I just don't have the time. So if you are a Patreon, I will do all I can to help you with all of your questions. But I'll make a dedicated video to what Patreon is and why I'm doing it, why I make videos. Not in the workshop today, sitting in Matilda. I'm taking a number of measurements and I'm planning the water tank. So we're going to build a custom water tank. It's going to be kind of like a welded plastic tank. There's quite a few things to consider when doing this. Now, when you're building your Overland truck, you'll probably spend as much time thinking about it and planning as you'll actually do in the building. It's like a giant puzzle to try and find where all the pieces go and where best to put this, and you're always thinking 100 steps ahead of how that's going to affect this. So with a water tank, I'm thinking about how much water we want, where we're going to put it, how we're going to mount it in the truck. So because this is a huge mess, we're talking about 300-400 litres of water. That huge mass needs to be properly anchored down. Also you need pipe fittings. Obviously take water in to the tanks, take them out. Maybe locate your filters near the tanks. External connection to fill your tanks up, so it's probably going to be through a wall. So there's lots to think about. Now you can just build your truck and not think too much about some of these items, like where you can put your filters, and just deal with that later on. But for a really polished, well finished truck, I think it's best to really consider the entire process. Some things you do have to think, well, I don't know the answer to that yet. We'll deal with them later, but keep them in mind. So today I am designing the tank. I've been thinking about it for a good month, to be honest, because where do you put it? There are benefits in keeping weight forward, so your truck is almost certainly going to be back heavy. And the problem with being back heavy is on loose terrain, maybe on slippery mud, snow, ice, maybe going down a sand dune. The back, the heavier portion, wants to overtake the front, and you end up sideways on, and that's when you then flip over and roll your truck. Now, because these are our homes and they're huge investments, they're not toys as such. We don't go pushing them to their limits. We want to be able to off-road, travel anywhere we like, obviously within reason. These aren't rock crawlers. They're not. Now these aren't big off-road machines. They are motorhomes with off-road ability. So have some kind of thought about where you put your weight. I like to try and bring some of it forward, and I have experience in Matilda. And Matilda, I had this in mind. That's why the motorbike's in the front. I've got my batteries right at the front, the water tanks right at the front. So I've tried to keep lots of weight forward. But Matilda is still really heavy, as you would expect. It's hard not to. And I have slid 180 degrees, spun 180 degrees on ice, heading towards a cliff edge. Not fun. So do bear weight in mind. The more really heavy you are, the more likely that is to happen, and the more quicker it's going to happen. So not only do you consider whereabouts, front, back, middle, do you got your water tanks. Obviously the height, the lower the better for your stability. And then another consideration is storage space. So in Matilda, this seat I'm sitting on now, this entire seat is water. The seat here, half of that is water. The other top half is storage. Now, deep storage, can be nice, but deep storage can be a little bit useless in some ways. It becomes difficult to get to. You end up storing items that you don't often use, and maybe you should question if you should even be carrying them if it's not something you use that often. So I'm certainly thinking to have tanks over a larger area, but giving more shallow storage rather than taking up an entire seat. Under the floor, now raising this dining area is raised because you don't need the headroom here. So I've raised this whole area up, which gives you more space under your seats. And then you've got a false floor under your table, which can be used for batteries or water tanks. So for this particular build, I'm thinking to use, I'm actually going to use most of this seat and the floor, and the reason for that is on the truck I'm building, this corner is going to be difficult to access. It's a long seat. We're going to have a locker here, another one here, and this one will be difficult to access. So we're going to have a water tank here, which is also joins into it's going to be a moulded tank, plastic. So under the floor, under the dining room floor, which is raised, and here will be a single piece moulded water tank, giving us about 377 litres, which is a quite nice size, especially considering the size of this truck. It's only a small truck. It's going to be under 7.5 tonne. Obviously you don't need to fill the water tanks all the way up if you are concerned about your weight. Just don't fill them up. So with those considerations, I haven't actually finished the drawing yet, but I'm doing it now. I'm thinking about the fill point, where we're going to fill it, where we're going to install the pumps and the filters. I've decided to put it all the filters, pumps, valves are going to be accessed from a rear external locker. It's not, when you change your filters, you do end up getting water inside your truck. It's impossible not to. So we're going to make a waterproof external locker. And when I say external, I don't mean under the truck. I mean it's going to be mounted in the side of the truck, like a hatch, waterproof. Maybe even a drain hole in it to drain out to the exterior. And in there will be all your probably 4 filters, shut-off valve, water pump, pressurised pump. Makes it nice, clean and simple, easy to access. So that's the plan. I'm not going to tell you which company to use for your water tank because this is the first time I've done this. I'll get a price, get the tank, I'll inspect it for quality, and then if I'm pleased I'll then say, hey, look at this tank, this is the design, and this is what it cost, and this is who I got it from. So that's what I'm doing today. It sounds like a quick job, design a tank, but there's just so much to think about, take into consideration. So this week's video, the video is meant to be this week. I'll upload it sometime during the week. So that's that. Thanks for watching again, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Any questions, please add them in the comments.